Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about what to do this week because, as you guys know, this week is kind of a quiet week. There's not much going on. We only got the Kenshin collaboration, and that's pretty much it. However, there are several things that I do want to mention because you kind of need to do it this week, as a lot of these things will actually be ending and going away next week. But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily. So if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe, as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first thing I want to go over is, of course, Meseta farming. If you want to continue to farm in dex base, remember I made a video about it. You can make up to 2 million per hour if you're actually in a pre-made group, in a passworded room, and everyone knows what they're doing with the gear required. However, for the average player, you're going to be making about 1 million to 1.2 million per hour, which is still really good. Sure, it's not as good as fully optimized runs, but 1 million to 1.2 million per hour, we're getting there. It's pretty decent. So you can definitely just farm there if you just need a ton of raw Meseta. Remember, you do not need premium, you don't need anything special, and you'll still be able to get all of that raw Meseta. Even if you don't have auto sell, you're still gonna be able to make that much Meseta, okay? Some people kind of misunderstood what I said in that guide. They think that, oh, if I don't have auto sell, I can't make that much money, blah, blah, blah. No, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be making 1 million versus if you have auto sell, you make 1.2 million. That's really the only difference. So you're gonna be okay. Now, the next thing on your priority list is gonna be the mission pass itself. As you can see, we have to get all the way to tier 40. It does go away on April 10th, and that is when maintenance kicks in. Now, the next thing I want to go over is gonna be our limited time task over here. So as you can see here, seasonal complete daily task part 3, where you get 1 End Master Cube for free. So this does require you to complete 150 dailies. So please make sure that you try to take advantage of this, because an End Master Cube, again, that's 5 million Meseta. So, you kind of want to pick that up for free. Now, there are some other ways to also earn some extra End Master Cubes, such as earn seasonal points part 3. So you need to farm 1 million seasonal points in order to get another End Master Cube. So basically just go down the list of your in progress for the limited time task and see if there's anything worth doing, and just make sure that you knock that out. Now, another thing that I recommend people to start doing now is to do everything that can reward you with the TA customization disc X's, because you actually need these in order to max out your TA customizations. Remember, next week we get the new TA customizations. We get the expansion of it. So that means every single class is going to get a new tech arts customization. So for example, if we look at the Braver, we had Lotus Lightning, but we have 3 different skills of Lotus Lightning. As you can see, I actually maxed out type 2 and type 3 because personally I tested this and I like type 3 better than type 2. But we are going to get an additional skill. But that also means my bow will also get an additional skill as well. So you really need a ton of these CDs in order to make sure that you can max out all of these skills. And if you play a technique class such as the Force, you actually get 3 additional elements that you can also max out. So you're going to need a lot of those CDs. So you definitely want to make sure that this week you capitalize on getting as many CDs as possible. There's actually a bunch that you can also get from the seasonal shop. So when we look at the seasonal shop over here, we go to exchange seasonal points. And right here, you can see that you can get 75 of the discs A, as well as 12 of the disc Bs, and also 3 of the disc X. So if you don't have any of these CDs, this is a very good place to get a bunch of them. It's going to cost you 555,000 seasonal points, but I do recommend to pick these up. Actually, I'm just going to buy them right now because, these are going to become very useful and very handy next week when you're maxing out all of those skills in order to get even more damage, because the week after that, we get Darkfall's Dalian. So you really want to max out as much damage as possible so that you're ready for it. Now, while we're on the topic of maxing out and getting as much damage as possible, of course, we can't forget about the Augment Capsule exchange over here with the Gland Gigas Master as well as Lux Hell Finales. These are things that you should also be working towards, but I do understand that this does require you to do a lot of dual quest, so you can take advantage of that and just spam dual quest over and over while there's nothing else to do in order to get a bunch of your Fusia capsules so that you can craft this. Or if dual quest phase 4 just isn't cutting it for you, you can always go to dual quest phase 1 to farm up a bunch of these Fusia capsules in order to craft your Gigas Mastes as well. Because if we look at the Gigas Maste prices, they're 1.4 million. It's pretty decent, 1.4, 1.5 million. So it's a good chunk of money. And of course, if you do to go the extra mile and make the Gland Gigas Mastes, you know, we're talking about 6 million, 7 million over here. It really quickly jumps to 7.5 million to 9 million. That's a little bit crazy. But nevertheless, you know, this range I think is okay, like 6 million to 7 million range. I think that's kind of the average price the Gland Gigas Mastes are gonna be. So honestly, I would just craft them myself. Lux Hal Finale is also available. They have gone up in price. As you can see, the average price was 2.8 million. They are now going for 3.4, 3.5 million. These prices are only going to explode and go even crazier the moment people start getting 11-star weapons, because that's going to be the next big upgrade. So, you know, that happens in 2 weeks' time. So you have 2 weeks to farm up all of these materials and all of this stuff, so that when the prices explode in 2 weeks time, you have the things that the people want and you can sell them. And that way you can make a big fat profit. That's actually how I make a lot of my money. Now, another item that I also invested was the XD Def Mel Techs over here. So these are also going for quite a bit of money. You can see there's only 2 on the market, one going for basically 12 million and the other going for 20 million. I have 7 of these. I think I can sell these pretty easily at 10 million a pop. So that means I earn 9 million Meseta for each one I sell. So if I sell all 7 of them, that's actually 63 million Meseta. Now, of course, I did sit on these for like about 3 months, maybe 4 months, whenever the last XD scratch was. And now is a pretty good time to sell them because the supply has dried out. And I do expect an XD scratch to come out relatively soon, probably like next month-ish. So I think it's a good time to sell any of the XD capsules if you have them. So, you know, this is going to be some good money for me. Now, other than making Meseta, of course, you can just farm up your Genesis points that has reset, so another 50,000 Genesis points. This did not take very long. I actually did it in like under 30 minutes on stream today. Very, very easy. And then, of course, seasonal points, you can also start farming the limited time quest, because the limited time quest over here currently has all of those boost effects, the rare drop rate plus 150%, as well as the fixer drop rate plus 150%. I actually did a short farming session of this today on stream, and I was able to get a good amount of scratch tickets as well as vouchers, so that is pretty nice. But another thing that I actually got a ton of was actually the add preset skills level 1. I actually got like 4 of these out of 5 runs or something, so it was dropping fairly often, which is actually pretty nice. Now, as you can see over here, I do still have some preset skill protection stuff over here. However, I have not spent my star gems yet. As you can see, I'm still on 12,000 star gems, but I will be scratching on the SG support because I just have a lot of star gems and I can afford it. I might spend, I'm thinking 5,000 star gems, so that's basically 100 scratches, because over here, if you scratch 100 times, you do get the N augmentation success rate plus 40%, but that's not the thing I want. I actually want this right here at 95, where you get the preset skill enhanced material not required, because I am gonna be maxing out my my new weapon, the 11-star weapon, when I do get it. But as you guys know, we have the add preset skills level 1 already, which means I can roll a level 1 fixer onto that weapon regardless. And then remember, starting from next week, you're actually gonna be able to re-roll fixer level 1s with the same item over and over and over again. So let's say, you know, I get a fixer unwix on my first weapon. I'm like, oh, I don't want that. I want fixer fatale. I can use the add preset skills level 1 to re-roll it again. So I can re-roll the unwix level 1 to something else, and I can keep re-rolling it. That's why having a ton of these add preset skills level 1 is going to be super useful, so that I actually get the fixer fatale or whatever I want on my weapon. Then once I get the fixer I actually want, then I can use the preset skill enhanced material not required in order to get it to fixer 2. And then, you know, once I get some multiple copies of the same weapon, then I'll be able to get higher fixers. Honestly, maybe I might not waste this just to get it on fixer 2, but maybe on fixer 4 to 5. I think that would make a lot more sense because it would save me a ton of money that way. I think this is probably best used in like much later or higher level fixes, and it shouldn't be wasted on like fixes 1 to 3, maybe even 1 to 4. It's kind of a waste to use this, so definitely try to save this for your bigger upgrades. So fixer 4 to fixer 5 I think is the best use case for this. But nevertheless, I will be spending some of my star gems here simply because I have a lot of star gems and I can afford it. Mainly because I don't really use my star gems for anything else. And that's why I'm able to save up so much and just drop it all on this support item select over here. And you can even see over here, I still have some leftovers from 2 SG scratches ago. Not the one that we had like a couple months ago. This one was actually from like 6 months ago. I just never really needed to use them, even though I did have a bunch of these sitting around. So yeah, it's kind of like an investment in my personal opinion to make my life a little bit easier. And then the S capsules, you know, you can't really go wrong with the S capsules. The main ones I'm going to be looking at is probably the Gladius Soul as well as the Hyel Domina. Like these two just save me a little bit of a headache as they are a 100% success rate. So I don't need to deal with, you know, getting all of these different augments and, you know, gambling and stuff like that. But the Gigas Maste S, you know, I don't really want this anymore. I want the Gland Gigas Maste because, you know, it gives so much more potency versus 3.5%. That one's like 4.75 or something. It's much more powerful.
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.